Hello everyone and welcome back to Shine by Nuns. Today's episode is dedicated to acrylic painting and I'm going to demonstrate how I painted this monk and the cheetah painting. I am still unable to decide a title or a name for this painting, so if you can give me some suggestion, that would be awesome. And just for transparency, before I begin, on this particular painting I have broken it up into two parts. So today you will see how I have done the backgrounds and the monk portrait, and tomorrow's video I will show how I have painted the cheetah. Thank you for watching. Before we get started with the in-depth tutorial, I wanted to just give you a brief idea about how I'm going to tackle this painting. I started off with painting the entire background blue and the body of the cheetah and the monk and the rest of the subject material in a very thin coat of raw umber, and then continued with the underpainting in raw umber and black and white mostly. And once the very basic underpainting was established, I will start off with the sky first, then the mountains and the misty background, then come to the body of the leopard, and finally the monk and the little hill thing. For transparency, because the video was getting too long and too drawn out, I have broken it up into two parts. So today you will see all the background and the monk, and in tomorrow's tutorial I will go into depth with how I have painted the body of the cheetah. I hope that works, so let's get started. To start off with, I blocked the entire body of the monk and the background and all the browner areas with a very light wash of raw umber, and then I am coming back with different shades of raw umber, sometimes mixed with a little bit of white, sometimes with a little bit of black, and sometimes with a little bit of yellow oxide to create the different value profiles that I need. And at this stage I'm just creating the shadows and blocking the area in general. Now I'm starting with the sky, and I'm using various shades of blue, mostly ultramarine and phthalo blue, and some shades of purple mixed with a lot of white, because I want the background to be very light, at least the sky to be very light. I don't want it to take away any focus from my subject. Now comes the hills in the background, and the hills also I want it to be very out of focus, so most of it is light shades of blue and purple, and I've used a lot of white mixed with it to make it kind of hazy and fuzzy. And a lot of the hills are getting covered with the mist and foggy looking clouds, so as to create the illusion of fog and mist at the background. And this also is to blur out the background quite a bit. I'm also using some shades of orange to create some of the fog and mist and kind of show the different textures in the background, in the fog and the clouds. And to be very honest, in this fog area I have used transparent mixing of white from the Liquitex Heavy Body range a lot, so that some of the backgrounds can be shown, because titanium white is very opaque, and if you use that then you will get only the white and not the background colors. For the little dirt hill, I have started with blocking it with a very dark shade created by blue and black mixed with raw umber. And once I laid that down, I'm creating textures with shades of yellow oxide and raw umber, sometimes mixed with a little bit of white. And I'm not being very careful at all about this. I'm not caring about my brush strokes for two reasons. First of all, it will mostly be covered by the grass that I will lay in front of it, which I am already starting on. And the second reason is that I want some textures on the dirt hill, because hills have texture. Then I did the grass, and now I'm painting the face. With the face or any of my portraits, I have seen that it works best for me to start with the darkest of the areas. So I lay down my darkest shadows first and then slowly move towards the lighter colors. That somehow works best for me. That helps me to judge the values right from the very beginning because I know what is the darkest color I can achieve and slowly move towards the light and leave the bright highlights till the very end. And for most parts of the painting, I have used just raw umber mixed with yellow oxide and white. And for the darker areas, I have used a little bit of black mixed with the raw umber and sometimes even a little bit of blue and purple, depending on the color of the shadow. And all of my paintings, how I create the darks and lights and what colors I use generally depend a lot on my reference photo. I stay very close to my reference photo to create the darks and lights. And even if you get a little bit off the darks or of the colors, it doesn't matter. All you need to be careful about is the value profile, whether your darks are dark enough and the lights are light enough. As for the body of the monk, the hand and the drapes on the body, the cloth, I am still following the same method. I'm first laying down the darks and mostly using the same shades of raw umber mixed with blue and black for the very dark darks, and then coming back with lighter tones of raw umber mixed with a little bit of yellow oxide, sometimes a little bit of cadmium yellow to create the lighter areas. Once I laid down the darks and lights on the drapes, I came back with a couple of washes of orange and one wash of crimson to get the color values that I wanted on the drapes. And then final things are to adjust the darks and lights once more and make sure that every shadow is in the right place. Adding a little bit of highlights to the background grass. I don't want to add too much highlights and take away all the attention from the monk's face and body. And with that, we come to the end of the painting. I hope you like the painting. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments. And give me a like if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you once again.